What up?
What's going on?
Week 4.
I know. We did another one after last week. That's impressive.
We're still here. George, you're still here.
We're working on that.
Folks, welcome to 1925, the New York Giants podcast. You're shaking your head, George, already. You care to explain?
That motherfucking Ohio State bullshit. I know. Notre Dame. I know.
Just saying. So
continue, Thomas.
I get a free pass. Welcome to the show, folks. If you are new and checking us out for the first time, we love all of our fans. We love all our new fans as well. If you want to share with a friend or two, you can check us out on our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at 1925, the New York Giants podcast. Went a little faster that time, so Mr. Bristol over here doesn't bust my chops. And there's our link tree for the audio version as well. We'll have that scrolling up later on in the show before we sign off. So, fellas, talk to me. How are we feeling? We have a great guest tonight. I'm excited to get him on here in a minute, but
definitely.
Drinking anything good, Nick?
It's been a long week from hell. Everybody's sick. Story of my life. Aside from that, all is well. It's warming up here in upstate New York. What about you, George?
The hell it is.
George, it was 14 below Sunday. What was it today?
It was 31 above. So, yeah.
Right, so we're moving up. I'm all about positivity this week.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
All right, George. Time has come to introduce our guest.
Perfect. So tonight we have Mike from Pudgyboyz SportsTalk. There we go. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
What is going on, man?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good.
We're just hanging out, having a good time. Thanks again for coming with us tonight. We know it's
of course. I love the positivity that everybody's the Giant fan is so positive now, right? You do this podcast this year.
No. Stick around a little bit. We're trying to sell you on us real quick. The bait and switch model, all right? So we do the positivity, then bam, we hit them.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I originally grew up in Staten Island, New York for like 30 years of my life, then recently moved to New Jersey a couple of years ago. Got out of New York. Got too expensive, so we couldn't do it anymore. Moved to Jersey. And that's it. Pretty much brought all my fandom with me to New Jersey, where the Giants actually play, if people aren't aware of that. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I grew up. And now,
can I ask you an obscure Staten Island question?
Of course,
quick?
Yeah.
So one of our good friends is from Staten Island. I don't know if he went to New Dorp, but he grew up in Staten Island. And his biggest injury as a kid was he fucking fell doing soap shoes.
Soap shoes?
Soap shoes, yeah. So that's what I said. So
yeah,
you didn't do soap shoes in Queens? I said, no, what is soap shoes? He said they'd go to the park and put soap on their shoes and then try to slide down shit. What did he break? His leg or his arm or something?
I think he broke his femur.
Yeah, he broke his femur. So he's telling me the story and he's expecting me like, oh, yeah, we did that in Queens. I never heard of the guy. So you haven't heard of it either?
I've never heard of that, no.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're a liar, Delmar. So take us back, man. When did sports stop being a hobby and turn into, I should maybe put something together? Like, how did you start creating your content?
Pretty much I was basically inspired a couple of years ago because I was a huge fan of WFAN growing up. So, and I think I kind of grew up in the prime of, Mike and the Dog and
sure did.
Joe and Evan and Boomer and Carton as I was growing up. So it didn't get much better than that from the morning till the night. I was inspired mostly by people from ESPN and just the garbage that company just continues to spew out. And I'm like, why do people take this stuff seriously? The things that they say, like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and the guys they put on the airwaves that claim to be big fans of sports teams, but they're just not. They're given what to say. They're told what to say, and they spew it out on the air, and people buy it, man. And it was just something that I just wanted to start 2 years ago and try to get my voice out there as a true fan like you guys are doing and just talk to the actual fan of these sports teams instead of these guys who just don't watch the games every single week like we do religiously.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. There's just a lot of talking heads, and they say obscure shit just to get a rise. I always go back to Skip Bayless during the Tim Tebow era.
He shattered the mold.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
Hey, and we remember it though.
We do, but it was terrible. Relevant. It was tacky, and he got lucky. Like what? the one touchdown pass to advance them in the playoffs, Tim Tebow, and it worked for a little bit, but it's all gimmicky. And yeah, man, I couldn't agree more.
And I can't say I didn't buy into this stuff either. I don't want to be a hypocrite because when I was growing up, I tuned in as well. Every time the Giants were playing Sunday, I'm watching First Take Monday morning and Skip and all these Shannon Undisputed and all these guys. And I'm like, eventually you just kind of grow out of that when you start to realize these guys just really don't know too much about what they're talking about.
No, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And that kind of ties into our next question, Mike. So did you have a plan when you started, or did you just hit record and kind of figure it out on the fly?
I was talking to myself anyway after Giant games, just yelling at myself, screaming at why they suck so badly over these last few years. So I started this with with a friend of mine 2 years ago. He eventually left it, wasn't for him, and I kind of took this over last year by myself. And it's kind of just been, I'm just going to hit the record button after each game, get my emotions out. This way I'm not bottling it in by myself and getting pissed off for a few days. Let me just scream it out. And when you see other people agreeing with what you're saying, even disagreeing with what you're saying, but you're getting the interaction from them, it feels good to actually have people out there that feel the exact same way as you do when there's a botched field goal or a bad play or a roster move that you don't like. Just, that was kind of the plan, because I was always a WFAN nut, like I said before. That was always the dream. So I was just figure out, try to see how far we could get with it.
So you kind of found a healthy approach with all this negativity that the Giants have given us. I mean, a lot of fans just drink themselves into a stupor and going to work Monday hungover. But yeah, you found a healthy outlet.
Wait. You don't think we're doing good?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. What were we? What was our record? 4-13?
It's just a record.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
So what's the biggest misconception people either in your life or in the Instagram world have about someone who's doing these hot takes or whatever, in the podcast world or the real world? What's the biggest misconception you see from that?
The fact that everybody just thinks that anybody could have a microphone and their message will automatically come across if they just buy podcast equipment, which is not the case. And we see it all the time when people just buy stuff and say the dumbest things ever. People actually could see right through that kind of stuff, just like to the point we all made before with First Take and all those guys. Eventually, we saw right through all of that stuff, and you kind of come up with your own conclusions on a lot of these stories. People will see right through your phoniness, and they'll see right through if you're trying to be a hot take artist or something like that. So, that's the beauty of doing this kind of thing, and people seeing that you're just real and you're putting your raw emotion out there.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree. Here's my hot take. Giants are going to go 17-0. You heard it here first.
I agree.
If that works, I'm a fucking genius, but I don't think that's happening. Do you feel like there's more pressure covering the New York outlet?
100%. Yeah. It's the melting pot, right? It's although the Giants have been so bad for 10 out of the last 12 seasons, they're still one of the most popular teams in the NFL. When you look at end of the year and teams watched, the Giants are always up there, if I'm not mistaken, in the top 4 or 5 teams that are most watched. And despite being so bad, they're still an extremely popular team to focus on. They're not the Jets, which is always good, so we could always go back on that. And this team is one of the most successful franchises, so following them, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, they won a Super Bowl. So we've had success every single decade. And the Knicks, I'm pretty sure we'll speak about them. The Knicks are one of the worst run franchises in the last 25 years, not recently, and still, again, one of the most popular teams in basketball, and it's not even close. And then the Mets,
because of the Garden,
the MSG, yeah, and
Garden
the Mets. What I do with the Mets is just I'm just on the middle, right?
You're a Met fan?
I am, yeah.
Hey,
right,
Giants,
folks,
Mets, Mets. On this side, you guys, I don't know.
You got it half right. Congrats.
I know it's typical
You guys
Giants.
know the
Yankees.
team over the bridge is far better, right? I'm just curious.
Which bridge are you talking about?
Any bridge. any bridge out of Queens. The team's better.
Triborough, Whitestone. What are we talking?
Any of them.
I would kill for the consistency of the Yankees. I'll be honest. Trust me.
Sidebar: who's your favorite Met of all time?
David Wright. Yeah,
David
it's kind
Wright.
of my era growing up from the 2000s. Wright was always the guy. Always the biggest what if in Met history, I think, as well. If he didn't get himself hurt.
Mine was Benny Agbayani.
That's a nice one.
No, it wasn't. I'm a Yankee fan, but I want to stick with the Mets for a second. So you grew up. How old are you?
36.
So you probably started off with like the Howard Johnson, Dave Magadan, that kind of weird team. Then they went right into the 2000 Piazza era.
Yeah, the Piazza era is more of my of where I kind of started watching it.
Oh, so they were great then.
The 2000 Mets, right straight to the. This is just a stupid fun fact. All of my favorite teams made it to their respective championship games that year, and they all lost in 2000, which is really heartbreaking to do. The Giants got blown out by the Ravens. The Mets got hammered by the Yankees, and the Knicks lost to the Spurs as the 8th seed in 99-2000.
You're so correct. That was a rough year.
It's a horrible year to start being a sports fan.
Yeah.
That felt like yesterday, too. Like, I'm just getting over some of that shit.
It's tough, yeah.
Scary about it.
Was that the Latrell Sprewell era?
It was. That was the 8th seed Knicks where they went to the finals.
Yeah, that was a fun run.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of New York fans, Mike, we're talking about this now, all of our teams and stuff. Do you think New York fans are brutal to be around and deal with, or are they just brutally honest, in your opinion?
Oh, my God. It depends on the fan, right? I mean, the Met fans are brutal. I've been yelling at Mets fans all offseason. Giant fans and Yankee fans seem to be the most knowledgeable. Because they've had success, so they understand what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Mets fans, we have no idea what success or sustained success looks like, but we try to play it off like we do sometimes after 1 or 2 lucky seasons. Knicks fans are just the most, I think, out of all of them, nobody lights up this city more than the New York Knicks.
I agree.
And when the Knicks are good, you feel it in the entire city. You feel the passion going around. Almost everybody's talking about them. So I think Knicks fans are the most knowledgeable when it comes to, and the most logical, even though, we've grown up since the 2000s after everybody was a free agent and we would just start screaming for the LeBrons and the Wades and all these guys, that we've grown up now to the sustained level of success that we've been asking for. But yeah, there's knowledgeable, and then there's just people who don't know what winning looks like, and we think we do sometimes.
When you leave a Knicks win and you're walking through the Garden and you're getting up, back to the street level, I feel like we're going to start flipping over cars or some shit. Like everyone's doing go New York go. It's just madness. And
it is.
You don't see that with the Giants. You definitely don't see it with the Yankees anymore. So that answer is spot on. The Knicks are absolutely the most passionate fan base, but they're also probably the hungriest for a chip. I mean, it's been since 71, 72?
Yeah.
My dad's era.
50 years we've been waiting on this.
So I have a question. Do you ever sit on a take that you might have, because you seem like you're pretty impulsive after games? You seem like the second the game's over, you're on there. Do you ever sit on something a little bit in case you're going to get crazier backlash or maybe not enough backlash? Do you time that, or you just go for it every time?
It's basically a feel. Sometimes I would wait. As of last year, I was waiting a lot on the firing Brian Daboll and Joe Shane thing. I was holding off as much as I possibly could for the longest time. And I was okay with even bringing them back for year 4, or year 5, and just giving them more of a run. And even in the first couple of weeks, I'm like, let me just sit on again. I'll wait a little bit, see what happens. And then, after a certain point, dude, you just can't take it anymore. And you don't know when it's going to click in your head, but it just clicks and you just see it. But yes, like that's something like that the whole Daboll Joe Shane thing was pretty much something I was waiting for a while.
You wanted Daboll 1 more year?
Excuse me. I didn't want to split them, so I wanted them both or them both gone. And since they announced that they were going to bring Shane back, I was okay with bringing Daboll back. I wasn't happy about it, but I was more for the total rebuild than the split, which eventually turned out to be a split anyway. So
no, that makes sense.
Was there a point during the season where you thought like Daboll's got to go though? I mean, mine was kind of Chicago. I think that, and it worked, but he seemed desperate. And
yeah,
he was completely okay with, sacrificing the franchise quarterback to try and save his job. And I do think Daboll's good for developing quarterbacks, but at the same token, he was dangerous. Like Dart had been in how many times in the concussion protocol? 4, 5 under Daboll?
Including the preseason, yeah.
Yeah, including the preseason.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Right.
Was it the Bills game?
Yeah, and I mean he everybody will say that Denver game, but I think it was probably long before that. He looks so sad, like you said. It's a good point. In that Bears game, he just looked so sad, and you kind of just felt for him at that point. Like, just pull the plug, let it happen. I was probably after the Dallas game in week 2 is when I started to really ramp it up, because keeping Shane Bowen on this team falls on the head coach. So if you're going to employ a guy like Bowen for all of these games, he's just going to continue to cost you games, and you just can't have it. So I was on board with just gutting it up in week 2, and that was after they scored 37 points. And it was a really exciting game. And then, but I don't know if you guys know, but I don't know whose ultimate decision it was to give Russell Wilson the 3 weeks of starting the season. But that also could have been a huge factor in Giants fans souring on Dable as well.
That was John motherfucking Mara. We're not handing the keys to a rookie. We're going to this dude. He's safe.
Yeah.
He says the right things. He's positive. He's uplifting. You know, when he does his little pregame routine, let's say. That was definitely John Mara, I think, at least. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I do know what got Russell Wilson benched. I mean, that atrocious week 3. We were there. What did every fan cheer? We want Dart. We want Dart. I mean, I do think Wilson probably was hurt, given the fact he couldn't throw a 5-yard slant route at that point. Something changed from week 3 to week 2. Week 2, he put up 460 yards, however many touchdown passes. He looked like the old Russell Wilson we hoped we were going to get. And week 3, it was a nightmare. And then I think the crowd pressure from Mara, I think it was time for a change.
Yeah.
So have fans ever changed your mind on a take, like whether through DMs or comments? Have you ever sat back and go, oh, shit, I might have been wrong on that, or you kind of open your mind to a new possibility?
I'm holding out right now because it's actually more recent with the Knicks. A lot of people are saying that they didn't need to trade for Giannis, and I was all on board for trading for him and thinking that he would be the better puzzle piece to get us to a championship and win it, other than keeping this core intact. So I guess that's kind of TBD right now to see if that works out or not. But I think that's probably one I'm kind of leaning on. And but the biggest one probably is this past offseason with the Mets. There were people that convinced me that it was time for Pete Alonso and the core of the Mets to be gone. And that was probably in October, where I was saying, let's just bring Alonso back as a DH. We don't have to play him at first. Nimmo's a great person. Let's kind of leave. But then people would just say, we're not winning with them. So what are we losing by losing them? 2 out of 7 years making the playoffs and multiple years of choking. That was an easy convince. Once they left, I didn't really feel any emotion towards that.
No.
That's a pretty good answer. Tom's dying to talk about the Mets here. I could just see it.
No, I mean, this is going to sound boring, but I agree with everything that Mike's saying. Look, I love Brandon Nimmo, but at the same time, he had to go. You know, he was getting pulled out of games in the middle innings due to his back and his age. He was not worth the price tag anymore. And Pete, I love Pete, but defensively, he cost us a few games being a liability. I'm going to miss him. I think he's an awesome dude, awesome baseball player, but you're not in a position to win. You got to rebuild eventually or retool, right, Nick?
Absolutely. Who gives a fuck? Moving back onto the Giants.
Yeah, I didn't even know the Mets played in Queens still.
Listen.
Linda, listen.
How many stadiums you guys going to have here? You going to knock this one down? Maybe get a winning team in the new one? Or what are we doing?
When was the last time you won anything? I was 14 years old.
Do we really have to go over the pride, the power, and the pinstripes right here on the Giants?
I'm just telling you.
All right, guys, let's focus on Giants here.
Too easy,
Mike.
Too easy.
Mike, moving on to this season, what is your confidence level moving into the season from 0 to 10?
I'm at a 10. I mean, it's good. I don't want to do the homer thing. I don't want to put the giant glasses on, but I mean, I think this was the biggest home run hire since probably Coughlin that we've had, and this is something that needed to be done. I just made a video last week about how I would not be as excited if we had hired some coordinator. Not saying that guy couldn't be successful, as we just saw in Seattle. First year as a head coach, the guy goes and wins a Super Bowl. But I'm not saying that the coordinator route wouldn't have worked, but I really, truly wanted a guy who was a foundation builder, a guy that just demands respect. When he walks into the room, these players are not going to be – they're going to be on their toes now. And this guy's not going to be afraid to get in your face, tell you exactly how it is. We heard the reports of Dable in the past, kind of like laissez-faire with a few players. That cannot happen anymore. This is Giants football we're talking about. And hearing Harbaugh talk gets you even more excited because he completely understands the lineage, the history, the New York football Giants. A lot of people like me got pumped up when he said those exact words. And they got the quarterback in place. They have a few weapons in place, barring of health. Hopefully everybody comes back healthy. They're going to add more pieces. They could create tons of cap space, and they're going to have tons of cap space next year. And they have one of the best veteran head coaching hires in the longest time, and he's putting a lot of veterans around him, guys who have seen this league for a long time and have had a lot of success. So out of all of my teams, the Giants are exciting me a lot going into 2026.
Right. And Mike, I want to ask you, based off of that analysis, right, what do you think, other than winning a Super Bowl, of course, what the Giants' long-term plan is? Is it, build around Dart and this young core that they currently have? Is it stick to some of these veterans from previous regimes? Doubt that. Or do you think it's something else that I didn't mention?
I think this is the Dart, Neighbors, Scatterboo, Tracy era that we're going into. And coincidentally, they're all on rookie contracts, so there's really no excuse to not build a great team around all of them. And I think he's going to put this team on Jackson Dart. I know they've been speaking daily, according to Dart himself.
Yeah.
Speaking to John Harbaugh and making sure they're all on the same page with one another. These guys are going to play really hard for him, which is going to be great. But yeah, this is going to be built around Jackson Dart now, as it should. And the fact that the Giants do have the quarterback now only in year 2, it could only benefit this team moving forward. So I do expect, like you said, Super Bowl would be crazy, but
yeah,
who knows? No, but I do expect
hot take.
I do expect a competitive team now, and I expect them to come back down to the rest of the division for once, possibly. Like, I don't see the other teams as far away from the Giants as I have over the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, I watched your video last night about Philly taking a step back, which I agree with. Dallas is Dallas, right? They're a team that is just hanging on to the Dak era and trying to be competitive every single year. And then you got Washington, who they have a good young quarterback too, but he was hurt last year, and they're the oldest team in the league around him. Plus, I was never really a Dan Quinn guy. Like average coach on a good day.
That's actually a really good stat too. Like, not a lot of people realize they are the oldest team in football, and they're employing a lot of these. There's not much rebuild right there. They have the young quarterback, but they got these surrounded by a bunch of older veterans. Yeah, Dan Quinn kind of wears his welcome out. He did it in Atlanta, had his shot to win it all. He blew that, and losing Kingsbury for Daniels is going to be a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize as well.
Yeah, I mean, George and Nick and myself have all talked about like the coaches and whatnot. And Kingsbury was a candidate for our OC job, didn't get it. Ultimately went to Matt Nagy, but most recently the Giants bring in another former head coach to their staff, Brian Callahan, quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator. What are your thoughts on this hire and how it will help Jackson Dart? Because obviously he'll be working with him directly.
Yeah, Callahan's, he's no nonsense. So a lot of people are going to see that immediately. With him and Dart on the sideline, I'm not saying he's going to get in his face, grab his mask, and start screaming at him, but he's going to hold him accountable, and he's going to make sure when he gets. Some guys are just meant to be specific coordinators and not head coaches. Not Callahan's fault that he was given the head coaching position over there, but he will be a very good quarterback coach with Dart. Keeps those throwing windows wide open for the quarterback, makes it really comfortable for the guy, gives him these accuracy points where he could toss the ball. I mean, it's just going to be a good hire for Dart, and to have Callahan strictly focus on being a quarterback coach, like we said before. Getting these veteran guys in here is going to just benefit Dart tremendously.
Yeah, it was kind of funny when you just said having a coach grab his mask, and they're not doing that to sweet baby Jesus. This kid is the butter on the bread as far as the future of the franchise goes. So are you convinced we have a fully, complimentary franchise quarterback on our hands? Yeah,
100%. I mean, is he perfect? No. There's some things I'd like to see him work on, like the deep ball accuracy. I like to see that. But then again, I mean, when you're throwing to guys like Darius Slayton, it gets kind of tough. I'm not the biggest Darius Slayton fan. He doesn't have the best deep threats on his team. He did it without Malik Neighbors all season, which is it's crazy to think about. He did it without Cam Scatterboo. And the Giants, for the first time in a long time, they moved the football pretty well. And we saw competent offensive football when for the last few years, guys, we didn't see – they couldn't make it past midfield for some of these games. 3 and out. And it was so pathetic to watch. The Jake Fromm era, things like that.
Listen, hey, we didn't tell you, but the guy over here, Tom, he's a really big Daniel Jones homer.
Oh,
So if you start motherfucking the teams of the past 4, 5, 6 years,
Stop it.
he'll start to get slightly butthurt, and he won't tell you because he'll be embarrassed. He'll just start acting shittier and shittier as we go on.
I went to Jake Fromm, so I skipped over Daniel Jones.
I saw you did that, but I was praying to God you were going to mention Daniel Jones because it's a whole other conversation.
Who's the other guy with the long neck?
Glennon. Yeah.
Yeah, Glennon. That's what I thought.
Well,
I couldn't remember though.
Poor guy can't help the size of his neck. I don't think we gotta fucking mess with him. But what were your thoughts on Daniel Jones, real quick? Side question.
Here we go.
I'm so sorry. I could never buy into him. I couldn't get over the draft pick initially from Gettleman, but I did. But again, a guy gets drafted to your team, you're obviously going to give him a chance. I'd rather be wrong and the team win than right and the team sucks.
100%.
So, but looking back in hindsight, obviously, not all of Daniel Jones' fault. The Giants put a lot of garbage around him. Terrible O-lines. The team kind of mirrored the Colts in 2022, right, with the great run game and Daniel Jones having a good system in place. But I think in hindsight, that year in 2022 just set us back further and further and further. And giving him that big contract was one of the biggest mistakes in hindsight, again, in this franchise's history. Again, not all his fault, but he does share a lot of the blame for a lot of the stuff that went on here. He was not a good quarterback when he was here.
Thank you.
No, I've said it before.
I don't
too.
disagree, George.
Honestly, I supported Daniel Jones until Tyrod Taylor came in with the same players and played way better. I'm like, what is happening? Like, Daniel Jones has got to go. I stopped defending him. It was over at that point. But I think the coaches that are coming in right now, everything that's set in place is really there to help develop Jackson Dart. It's going to help with his footwork, his timing, all that stuff. So I'm excited. So with that being said, do the Giants want to see development or do we just want instant results?
We got to see development first. And the results will come with Jackson Dart playing very well. They have everything in place, man. They got the pass rush. They got a defensive coordinator now that's going to hold his defensive backs accountable. That's going to be tremendous. You're going to see a lot better version of Javon Holland, and you're going to see a lot better version of Paulson Adebo as well in the system that Denard Wilson's going to play compared to what these other guys, because Bowen was putting them in the wrong spots at all times. But sorry, going back to Jackson Dart, I'm just excited about the Denard Wilson hire. Going back to Jackson Dart, he's got it all. Again, the escapability, the things you can't coach are already there for him. The escapability, the presence in the pocket, knowing where guys are going to be. He has those things, keeping his eyes downfield. You can't teach those sort of things to some guys. He's got those already. His biggest things are maybe the deep ball, maybe the seam pass, maybe getting guys in the right spots pre-snap and then finding them after the snap. Like, those are the things you could fix. He's got the intangibles already, which is great that we don't have to coach those sort of things.
I love that. Yeah, he's passed the eye test already, if you ask me. Quickly want to shout out my guy Tudo here, tuning in from Dublin, Ireland, with his entire Italian rugby national team. Please pray for my victims, mate. Yeah, if you could elaborate a little more on that, Tudo, really appreciate that. Hope all is well though over there. Just want to make sure I get him in since they're a few hours ahead. Mike, how long is it too long to wait and decide if a quarterback is a franchise starter in today's NFL? Because obviously we're not so far removed from coming off a 6-year experiment.
Yeah, I think 3 years probably. And it gets kind of tricky when you go through coaching changes as well, because that's a lot to put on the young quarterback. We're kind of seeing a good example of that with CJ Stroud right now. Everybody kind of put him in the top 5, made him elite right after his rookie season. And now he's had 2 of the worst seasons you can imagine, back-to-back in Houston, getting worse and worse. So, and the same thing happened with Jaden Daniels in his rookie year. Everybody propped him up, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then injuries happen, things happen. So I would say probably a healthy 3 years under the same coaching staff would probably be enough for me to kind of evaluate if the guy's probably the right guy or not.
Yeah, they dropped C.J. Stroud like a bad habit. I mean, they thought that guy was the second coming of Mahomes at one point.
Yeah.
And now it's like that team's got the worst offense, all because of him, basically. That's a great point. So I have a question. Who do you think Giants fans or yourself think is a core player but really isn't?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I asked the good ones out of the
That was
3.
a good one, yeah. I don't. Okay, so I would probably go with Theo Johnson. Like some Giants fans have like the extreme expectation for Theo Johnson to be like this Tony Gonzalez type of tight end, and he's just not that guy. He has stone hands sometimes. He causes interceptions. It gets really frustrating with Theo Johnson because he can make some of the most brilliant catches you could watch during a game, and you pencil him in. He's your next tight end. He's your next tight end for the next 7 to 8 years. And then there'll be a game where he just drops 3 balls that are just right in his hands. And it's just really frustrating with a guy like him. I think Bellinger, honestly, is a better all-around tight end and who doesn't drop the football at all. The catch radius is tremendous. It's like a 99% catch rate that for Daniel Bellinger. It's outstanding for a young quarterback, especially with Dart. And the last thing I want is a guy to hurt Dart's confidence if he's dropping the ball or the ball getting tipped for interceptions. I would say probably Theo Johnson fits into that. People think he's a core player, but I would be okay if the Giants kind of went elsewhere next year.
You know what's going to help Theo out, though, is Jackson Dart. I think he's got a little bit of a bromance going on with him.
Yeah. I remember that Denver game where he caught that tipped ball for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst game ever.
I mean, I hate to say it. I see Evan Ingram in him a little bit. A bigger, bulkier Evan Ingram. Sorry.
No, I was actually thinking about Evan Ingram the whole time. Evan Ingram was going to be the next. Oh, he's a wide receiver, like, except, he's big. That fucker couldn't catch a cold when he played for the Giants.
Another guy people talk about like he's God's gift to earth is probably Wan'Dale. And I know he's a fan favorite because of his size. But I mean, like 93 catches to only have 1,001 yards. I mean, it's not like he's doing anything outstanding. You look at a guy like Alec Pierce as well from the Colts, who has the same amount of yards and with 52 less catches. I mean, that's something that I would be more open to having over Wan'Dale Robinson. He's probably another guy that I would speak about.
Oh no!
It might happen if Tennessee offers him the bag. I mean, we know he wants to stay, but you don't think Daboll's gonna try to help their GM overpay for him?
Yeah, if you could get him like that Khalil Shakir type contract, which is like 5 years, 11, 12 million a year, I'm open to that. But he's not a guy I would break the bank for and give him 16, 17 million a season.
Wan'Dale is a dog, number one. Number two, he's a slot receiver playing WR1. I mean, I know I'm going to sound like a Wan'Dale homer, but if you have Malik Neighbors, right, and then you have someone just to his position, and then you have Wan'Dale in the slot, I think that's successful. Wan'Dale being a number one, obviously, most of his receptions are at the line of scrimmage or even behind it. Very short yardage stuff, a lot of rack stuff. But I love Wan'Dale Robinson. I hope he doesn't go to Tennessee. Career suicide. That team's ass. Don't do it. Daboll's bad juju. Just don't do it, Wan'Dale. Come back to the Giants. We'll figure out Slayton. We'll get rid of him. See ya.
If you're bringing Wan'Dale back, it has to be because you're getting rid of Slayton. That's the only acceptable way for me. That I would be okay with that.
Well, he got 3 years, 36.
I know, and if they trade him before a certain date, they could probably save like $3 million.
These motherfuckers wouldn't give Saquon 26. I don't get that. Like, that blows my mind. Like, you're gonna like make Saquon do ungodly things, and then no, we're not giving him the money. But Darius Slayton, yeah, you're a third, fourth best option on the team. How's 3 years, 36 to hang around? Like, get the fuck out of here. That was the dumbest. That was the
positional value. That's all it is now. Sadly, I mean, Slayton isn't half the player of what Saquon was. I mean, we're talking about two different animals here, two different positions. But yeah,
But if you pay Darius Slayton 3 years, 36, what's fair market value on Wan'Dale? At least 50, 55, 60? Like,
you would have to assume he's going to be asking for like 15 million per.
Yeah, I think 17 to 20 is what I'm hearing a year.
So then what the hell do you lock in Malik in a couple of years?
Pay him now.
That's what I would do. That's my point. Like, are we going to wait? I'm telling you, the Giants are famous for doing this shit. They're going to wait until they're all going to expire at the same time, and they can't afford any of them. Mark my words. They're going to keep the quarterback, and everyone else is going to have to go elsewhere.
I hope you're wrong, George.
Clip it.
I hope you're wrong. So you're okay with keeping Wan'Dale under the right price? Who survives out of necessity just because we have nobody else to replace him with?
On either side of the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, either side.
Deontay Banks probably. I think that they're going to give him a bigger shot going into next year. Not saying he's going to break out and go back to rookie year Deontay Banks, but they're pretty short at the corner position right now. I can see them pulling off a trade for a guy like Humphrey maybe. There's going to be a lot of Baltimore guys coming here. Hopefully the fullback in the center, and maybe they could swing a trade for the corner. But Banks is going to survive on this team because I don't see them getting enough depth at corner from now until week 1. I know we have the draft. I know we have free agency and stuff, but they spent a lot of money on the defense last year in free agency, basically all of it. But Banks should get another shot. He should be able to survive, even though his last 2 years were pretty bad. But with Denard Wilson's scheme, I think that favors Banks a little more than Bowens with his own scheme.
I actually like him as a return guy.
Well, that too, yeah.
He's a great return guy. He lacks effort, though, as a cornerback. That's his biggest issue, which Harbaugh can hopefully turn around. But I think you're right, too, with Denard Wilson coming in. He's known for developing cornerbacks. That's his strength. I think that's why he's here. So I think you're right on that. I think Deontay Banks stays. Might not be the best option, but might be the only option we have right now.
Press man scheme. He was good at that his rookie year. So I do agree with what Mike's saying there,
Now, who's a guy we absolutely cannot avoid? We have to cut. Who can't we keep?
Oh, geez, that's Bobby Okereke has to go. I mean, there's no actually no. You know what? Actually, there's two. I'll change it because I don't know what I'll get out of Okereke under Harbaugh. Maybe they're gonna have to do something with that. They could save $9.5 million by cutting him, so they got to do something with that money. Graham Gano's got to be the first cut of the offseason. If they don't do it, I'm gonna question everything once again. I'm screaming all of last year for Graham Gano to be off this team. I can't take it anymore. Losing games because of kickers. He's getting hurt, getting out of bed. And we couldn't dress guys the last 2 years because of this guy.
Hey, my friend, you're only 36 years old. You wait. I get injured every day getting out of bed at this point. it gets weird, dude.
I'd be okay with both guys getting cut. Gillen and Gano. I'd rather have a new punter and a new kicker heading into next year.
Well, I think Better Call Saul's got to get a shot.
He should definitely get a shot. Would you guys bring in? It's a controversial one. Would you bring in Tucker?
No.
No.
I think Better Call Saul will work for like 300.
Camp body?
I think there's a lot of massage parlors in New York City. I don't see why we don't bring him in, see what he's about.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have Deshaun Watson back him up, and we'll have a good time. We're not going to win, but we'll have the best time on the city, man.
They'll be happy, and that's all that matters.
We're going to get flagged for all of this.
Fuck them.
So, in your opinion, is there any contract that is holding us hostage right now? You kind of answered a little bit, but what's the contract that's really going to bear us down?
Thomas is great. Dex is great. Probably the Darius Slayton one. I mean, it's killing us right now because even if they want to re-sign Wan'Dale, they could completely revamp the wide receiver room despite Slayton's contract. I mean, you could re-sign Wan'Dale and also draft somebody like a Tate or a Jordan Tyson, and now you got a whole different wide receiver room where Slayton is your number 4 receiver making $12 million a year. But that contract has to go in order for us to get better at the skill position because everywhere else, guys, when you look at their skill positions in quarterback, they're dirt cheap. Neighbors, Johnson, Bellinger, Tracy, Scatterbo, they're 4th and 5th round picks. They're making nothing. And Dart is making as a late first. Is not making big time quarterback money as it would be if he was a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. Cost controlled money right now. So you want to make resources to the right premium positions to uplift this roster and get guys in who are changing the culture. And I think now the Giants, not saying they have a whole lot of these guys left, but over the last couple of seasons, it just seemed like the Giants were too loyal to players that were tied to losing seasons, like the Darius Slaytons of the world. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I go back to our Mets, as we might not want to talk about that, but people were tied to Alonso and Nimmo as favorites, so they just said, no, we have to have them here to win because they're our homegrown guys. And again, getting Darius Slayton in the 5th round when he was drafted, they got the most out that you could possibly get with a 5th round wide receiver like Darius Slayton, who just drops the football all the time. The biggest problem, obviously, was giving him the contract. But prior to that, there wasn't much complaining about Slayton because he wasn't making that much money, and he was a 5th round pick.
And he was giving you 700-800 yards potential as a wide receiver 3.
And the connection that he had initially, too, with Daniel Jones was actually really good.
So at what point does continuity just mean refusing to admit your mistakes? This goes back to like pre-Harbaugh a little bit, but because me and Nick used to talk a lot about the Giants are loyal to a flaw. They just push the history, the uniform, the legacy, the 100-year, which they fucked up completely with the uniforms. But that's besides the point. What they kind of always have this continuity brand, but in a lot of ways, I feel they just don't admit a lot of mistakes. Hopefully, this rights that, but
they don't, and that's exactly like the point of bringing in Harbaugh. They're trying to right the wrong of the last decade with the hirings they've made and the trades that they've made, the decisions they've made, the free agency pickups that they made. Some of the worst decisions that you could make in the NFL were made by the New York Giants over the last decade. And Mara, not knowing his situation, obviously this could be like one of his, God forbid, this could be one of his last moves as owner of the Giants. And he wanted to make sure that getting this guy in here can erase the last few years of the Giant football that, you know what, it sucks to say, but this new generation of player, I'm not sure that they buy in too much to what the Giant lineage, and they're used to seeing the Giants just be horrible for the last decade. They're not used to seeing the Eli Mannings and the Strahans and going back to Tiki and Marshall, who you guys had on, and LT. They didn't grow up watching these guys. They grew up watching Orleans Darkwa, and they grew up watching Evan Ingram, and they grew up watching Russell Shepard. We had Beckham, which was exciting, who I would also bring back, by the way, on a 1-year deal, very cheap.
why?
Just one year.
The fucking guy's not football ready, man.
One measly little year.
How do you know? How do you know, George? You train with
The
him?
last time we saw him, he was taking Xanax on a plane and got taken off by marshals.
Harbaugh
Flights
did
make
bring
you
him into you.
nervous.
He did
listen,
play under
I
Harbaugh for a
love
brief
Odell
time.
Beckham. My dad still makes fun of me because I call him Little Odell. That dude can do anything. I loved him, but I think that ship might have left the shipyard. Just my opinion. But
Let's meet in the middle. How about like an invite to training camp?
yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
we're good. But yeah, I mean the Giants do that, right? They don't admit their mistakes a lot, and I think this hire, like I said before, is admitting, all right, we've tried it multiple ways before the last decade. It's just not working.
Yep.
Let me get a guy in here that's going to fix this shit because it has to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants have notoriously, like I've always said, loyal to a flaw. This is one that people may not like. I think they held on to Eli Manning a little too long. If you look back at McAdoo, what did he want to do? He wanted Patrick Mahomes. Thank you, George. Thank you.
Nice.
He wanted Patrick Mahomes. His only flaw was the way he handled everything. He benched Eli mid-season for Geno Smith, who ended up being pretty successful later on in his career. Not with the Giants, obviously, but him benching Eli, that was McAdoo's, that killed him. His career was over in New York after that. But no, I couldn't agree more. I think we're loyal to a flaw. I think this is the first time in a long time Harbaugh's going to come in and just hopefully right this ship, and I think he's the great man to do it.
Yeah. Now, moving more towards the free agency side of things, Mike, you kind of foreshadowed a couple of things a few minutes ago. Do you want the Giants to be aggressive in free agency or maintain a disciplined approach and kind of let the market set itself first?
There's two players that I would be aggressive on and then let the market. Linderbaum's obviously the first one. I would back up the truck for him. He's like the best center in football. And to get him in here, we're going to probably – JMS really hasn't developed to the guy that I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be a lot better than what he has. I would also I wouldn't mind keeping JMS as well as a backup center to learn behind because he's still under contract. But Tyler Linderbaum would be the first absolute target right away, immediately. Give him $18-20 million a year. And then probably Patrick Ricard, the fullback. And then this is someone that could make this offense a lot more versatile. And this kid, a great blocker. He's not going to cost you more than $2-3 million, especially coming with John Harbaugh. He could line up at tight end. He could do a lot of different things for the New York Giants and helping them out. I would be aggressive into getting those two. And then probably after that, let's see how things develop to try and plug holes. Because, that's another thing the Giants have been, like going back to the previous question, the Giants kind of have been plugged, like the last two regimes, or they've been kind of plugging a lot of the holes on this team through free agency and overpaying, and it just hasn't worked. We have to plug these holes smart, and we got to be a lot more smart with a cap, and which I think Joe Shane kind of does.
So what's one position you think that the fan base kind of underestimates the cost of fixing? Like, they're not going to want us to throw a ton, like you just said, in the past we threw a ton of money at things. You could almost argue that with the secondary last year. What do you think would be the next position group that we shouldn't throw a ton of money at and overpay?
I mean, wide receiver, we should not go crazy on. I mean, you got a young one in Neighbors, and you got Slayton already at 12. You probably will Wan'Dale. People underestimate how much it costs to pay an offensive lineman. People underestimate how much it costs to pay the secondary. That's why Adebo cost what he cost. I don't want to get into a situation where we're paying multiple receivers like Chase and Higgins, because that's going to set them back for a couple of years. And you're seeing it with Dallas now because they had to franchise Pickens. That's going to set them back with Dak and CD and Pickens all making that kind of money. Offensive line should be spent a lot of money on. Edge rusher should be another position that is prioritized and spent a lot of money on. And corner. I mean, you're not going to get quarterbacks that come out as free agents, but cornerback, edge rusher, offensive line should be the priority for a GM to spend the majority of his money.
Speaking of edge rusher, what do you do with the Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns trinity?
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm sick. Going over this cough.
Good.
Thibodeau's a weird one, man. I had really high hopes for him coming out of Oregon. He just hasn't developed into that guy that I never thought he would be a guy that would get us 15 sacks a year, but I also never thought that he would go through 3-4 week stretches in games where you just don't even know he's on the field. And it gets really frustrating with Kayvon. It always goes back to where you're drafted. He was 5th overall. So I'm expecting 5th overall type of play when he gets on the field. Giants could save $15 million by trading him in the offseason. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of expectation. I think you have Abdul Carter, you have Brian Burns, you have Dex. You could also draft another guy in the 2nd round if you want to replace Kayvon for a lot cheaper. But I'd be on the side probably of looking to explore a trade if it was involving Thibodeau, because then I don't think they're going to be able to pay him the following year.
What do you think we get for him, though? I mean, do you think he's even worth a 3rd round pick at this point?
I don't think so. I mean, NFL is so weird, right? It's I would probably say like a 4th for Kayvon. Yeah. Maybe there's a swap of a player that's on another team that they're kind of in the same predicament where they want to do like a Kayvon for. I haven't looked up his contract, but I've seen like Kayvon for Mark Andrews type of swap with Baltimore, and you would be taking on a tight end, a good tight end that Harbaugh had, and would giving them Kayvon Thibodeau, something like that, where maybe a player for player swap. Because I don't know if draft wise he's going to bring us back much capital.
So within reason, do you think we should be overly aggressive in free agency? And like Illuminor, what do we do with him? Do we try and get him back, or do we risk it? He's the first solid right tackle we've had in years.
Yeah.
But he's going to cost some money. So what's your thoughts on him?
I mean, it's him and Flott, right? As the guys that are kind of the free agents in-house that we would want to keep. Illuminor is probably priority number 1 for them going to free agency. If you could get Illuminor back, who John Harbaugh did draft, so you have that kind of familiarity there. He kind of looks like he enjoyed his time in New York. You know, he's very active on Twitter. He's very active with the fan base and talking about giving his all and all that stuff. Giants fans love him. They have Marcus Bowe as a backup, ready to go. I don't want to just toss him in right away, but Illuminor is probably a guy getting him back on the right deal, obviously, but whether that's 2 years, 15 mil per, something like that. If he would take something, I don't know if he would do that, but he seemed to enjoy his time here. I would love to bring him back, so we don't have to just throw Marcus Bowe straight into that spot.
How about we pay Evan Neal $100 million a year to just come back and just right this ship? I think he's been pretty good so far.
He's a decent player. I'm glad they didn't pick up his option, though. I'm very excited that he's not going to be on this team anymore.
You're very kind, even using the words decent.
Dude, the motherfucker cleaning the concourse at the end of the game has a better shot at getting his option picked up than Evan Neal.
It's really disgusting that he was one of the most highly rated offensive tackles coming out of college football in 20 years, and to see what he turned out to be. And I'm not blaming the Giants for it. Because guys have developed elsewhere, and we saw Eric Flowers develop as a guard. The Giants tried him at tackle, and they tried him at guard, and he was just not good at all. So that is, again, in hindsight, it is Joe Shane's fault for taking him, but I don't think any of us would have been. I don't think any of us were crying when they did take him.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Can I talk now?
This now you're asking for permission.
So when
The
Giants
floor is
fans
yours.
look back 5 years from now, what do you think they're going to talk about this experiment/era?
Giants. We're going to be seeing Giants football back to relevancy. We're going to get out of the garbage. We're gonna separate ourselves from the teams that we just truly don't belong being with, like the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders. We don't belong in that same category, and it sounds very egotistical, but I think it's factual that the Giants are just a separate brand from those crap teams. It's just been a crap few years. So in 5 years, I think we'll see probably 4 playoff appearances, something like that, where we're kind of in the mix again, like we used to be, and proud to every single Sunday to watch football, and just proud of the Giants being back to Big Blue.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think for the first time in a long time, we're closer to getting back to a winning football team, something we're happy to watch on Sundays. Monday makes Mondays easier for every one of us.
Yeah.
I haven't had a good Monday in a really long fucking time.
I think the last great time we all felt together was, besides your bachelor party, and was probably after the Eagles game, right? Week 6. That was probably the last time the Giant fan base was actually hopeful that there was a future here.
Yeah, it was
that also
fun.
screwed up the rest of it though,
It
because it
did.
kind of brought us all back in, and we're back, baby, we're fucking back, and then it just kind of.
And you saw it right away too. Like the Giants, because we had 10 days to feel that the Giants were the talk of the town for 10 days, strictly by beating we were 2-4. We weren't 6-0. We were 2-4, and Dart, Scatterboo, and they just took over completely. So that's just a taste of what we could get back, and it'll be just so exciting.
And what we saw week 6, that's every week with John Harbaugh teams. That's how they play every single week. I mean, look what they've been able to do, right? I mean, you mentioned Denard Wilson earlier. I love that hire, by the way. He didn't have the personnel at Tennessee to maximize as a coach. And I think the biggest thing, the offense was fine last year. I know Kafka's out and now Nagy is in, so that'll be an interesting transition. But defensively is what really, I think, needed to be repaired most outside of the head coach position, of course. I mean, these guys they weren't mentally checked in to Shane Bowen. And I know it's scary, Mike, right, with Denard also being from Tennessee. But, I mean, you can't really use that against him because I think he has a proven resume and he has the John Harbaugh connection. I think, a lot of these moves haven't really been the sexiest, but you have to sit there, right? And I think just trust John Harbaugh here. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, Giants fans begged for him, man. They begged for John Harbaugh. So and now we're going to start complaining. And I get Carmen Brasillo was let go, and a lot of Giants fans are upset about that, and it does suck. But I'm just going to trust that the guy is bringing in the guys that he thinks are going to give us the most success.
No, and I think I was going to say Mara Tish, but I didn't want to get flagged. Mara, I think the Mara family, they're starting to understand that Harbaugh is a little bit of a different cat. Everyone else we hired, they're kind of coming in, they're looking for a come up. Harbaugh is like, listen, this is going to cost you $100 million, and I get to hire everybody. And that's that. Oh, and by the way, I'm not reporting to Joe Shane. He can go. I'm done with him. I'm going straight to you. So this has to work, though, in my opinion. If we're going to make all these concessions for a guy, now, I get he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's was he a lifetime 670, 660% quarterback, Tom? You're the number guy. Am I close?
Around that, I would say, yeah.
So that's better than we've had in a very long time. So I'll take that. But, I mean, this shit has to work. Like, I have to give this 3 years. If I'm not seeing the train moving in the right direction, and I don't want infighting between incumbent players that we have, homegrown guys, and if they start shopping Baltimore players. I've seen that happen in locker rooms before. You always see it with the Bills. Bills players and coaches go everywhere else and try to make it the Bills. I don't want to see that with Baltimore. I don't. Well, in Baltimore we did this. Well, that's fucking great. You had Lamar Jackson. You had these players that we don't necessarily have in every position. So, with that being said, I have 2 more questions. First question: do you have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? Anything coming up? Any other appearances? Anything like that?
No, just Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, same name, Pudgyboyz SportsTalk with a Z, not an S. I made that 2 years ago, and I'm kind of regretting it now that I have to kind of repeat that it's with a Z every single time that I say it. But you do what you do for certain reasons. But that's it. I pretty much post every day on Instagram when it comes to the Knicks, Mets, Giants, or anything crazy New York related.
What about wrestling? You don't do anything with that too, or no?
I do. I started to throw some more wrestling stuff in once in a while. I talked about the Royal Rumble and all that stuff.
Does that do better, worse, or same?
See, wrestling it's got a big audience, but there's so many people doing it, so it's kind of in the middle. I kind of get in the middle. I've tried to do maybe I don't know if you guys have played video games or anything, but 2K26 is coming out, so I've kind of put a few videos out with 2K26 and keeping that going just to see kind of if it hits or not.
Is the NWO in it? Can
They
I
are.
the NWO?
Yeah. It's actually the Monday Night War edition and the Attitude Era edition this year. So you have all the guys except for kind of like a few, like Sting, that just aren't under contract right now with WWE. They're all going to be in these games this year. Very special editions.
Nick, did you hear that?
Yes, George, you're bricked up right now, aren't you?
When I forgot what year it was, a couple of years ago, they had like an NWO edition. And I spent $100. I hope my wife's in bed. I spent $100 on it, and I spent I stayed for the first time in a long time. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. just being the NWO, beating everybody up.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. Everyone clicked off. Second question. This is an important one. I'm a big diner guy. Diner food is the shit. I love diners. I don't know about these two guys. They don't ever chime in. What is the best diner in New Jersey?
Town Diner by me. It's a really, really good diner. My favorite diner ever, though, is in Staten Island. It's a place called the Island Coffee Shop. I mean, 2-3 times a week. You don't get the name Pudgy by not going to this place multiple times a week. That was a staple in my life for the longest time. And the best part was that it was affordable, right? You get a cheeseburger deluxe for like $12. Wow. And that was the best part about it.
You know what's great? I've asked that question to you, Singh, and Leonard Marshall, and I've gotten completely different answers every time.
Love it.
And all three live in New Jersey, so go figure.
Yeah.
What about you, George?
My favorite diner all time?
Yeah.
It's actually closed. It used to be the Neptune Diner.
I think we're running out of time, Tom. I think it's time to wrap it up.
I think
maybe
we
next week we'll cover it.
Neptune Diner was good. Airline Diner featured in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Walking distance.
What's your go-to order at a diner?
Me?
Yeah. Everybody.
Double bacon cheese. You're gonna. I should have went last. You're gonna make fun of me. Double. So I don't eat nothing with lettuce, tomato, or a.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'm plain as could be.
Do you like condiments, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. I like a double bacon cheeseburger with a lot of fries, some ketchup. You know, I dip them in the ketchup like I'm a little kid. I go to town with that. And then I usually like to finish either with a vanilla milkshake or some sort of dessert because they always have that banging dessert glass enclosure. That's how you know if you got a good diner, by the way. They have one of them big wraparound things with all sorts of shit in it. That's my order.
That's good stuff.
What's yours, Nick?
I'll go with pancakes.
I'll have some kale.
I'll go with pancakes all day long.
There you go. That's good.
4
You
p.m.
got to get a side of bacon with that.
Oh, absolutely. Until the motherfucker says I've ordered too much and he won't serve me.
Don't diss the Coach House ever again. I swear to Christ, if you fucking...
I didn't name any names, George. You did.
I got tight.
Oh man.
Thomas, what about you?
I'm gonna sound boring. Grilled chicken heroes for me.
That's terrible.
Thanks.
You dip it in honey mustard?
Yeah, of course he does.
A little bit, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Mike, what about you?
It's a mix, man. Bacon cheese omelet with extra bacon on the side, fries with a side of brown gravy.
There you go.
So fat.
That's big where he's from.
Yeah.
Poutine.
Yeah,
poutine,
baby.
Yeah.
Canadian border.
Yeah,
but that's a boot.
Sometimes a nice gyro as well, or gyro. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
A nice diner
gyros
gyro.
are only good if you get them off the street.
True.
Opinion.
Yeah.
But
I will say the Broncos at the airline diner, phenomenal. Those Bronco burgers that they have,
yeah,
those are really good too. I had to make.
They're steamed though, right?
Yeah, but they're still good. You get pilots and shit in there every day. That because LaGuardia Airport's right there, so they just walk, they come over, they sit down, they eat, catch their next flight. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Well, Mike, for all of us, I'd like to thank you for joining us. It was a blast. Love to have you on again in the future. It was great just talking to other Giant fans, especially ones with such a following like yours. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much.
And feel better.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good night, Mike.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
Thank you. What a great guest. Pudgyboyz Sports Talk. Mike was fun. He's our style. Definitely good guest. Good get. George or Nick. I don't know who reached out to him.
It's always George. It's always fucking George.
Well, you do have great ideas once in a while when you don't do the bare minimum.
Hey guys.
How much time we have? We have like 3 minutes. We could do something.
Sure.
We should tell the story of how this show started. And I think that'll explain a whole lot.
A whole lot. George has a whole lot of ideas without much behind it, right? I think that's fair to say.
To explain, Nick.
I want Nick to explain. He does it the best. Explain.
Well, we can start with me, but it started very much like this. Me and George have loosely talked about doing a podcast for the last 2-3 years now
about a different topic.
Yeah, completely different topic. But with that being said, recently we started talking about being just strictly Giants, and within that, we just kind of left it at that. So we're going to fast forward to January 3rd of 2026. I am driving to Jersey with my son. I get a text message. Hey, the Instagram's up. I think we're running. I'm like, what do you mean? We have fucking nothing. And George just starts posting these random shitty looking photos because he doesn't know how to do anything with Photoshop. Is that correct?
No, I do, but I don't have Photoshop. That was part of the problem.
But you could have purchased it, right?
Well, I wasn't going to do that until I knew you guys were coming aboard. I mean, that'd be foolish, right?
So from there, we kind of just built off that. I kind of started working around shit. Tom's been doing this for a long time. You've gone through many regime changes, and you and George have done a few podcasts together. So we all got together, and within that, George, why don't you take it away with how we got our first guest?
So we didn't have anything. We didn't have an insignia. We didn't have a backdrop. Tom had a StreamYard for another stream. And so one night I'm in bed and I'm like cold calling people of interest of being on the podcast. And I hit Leonard Marshall. I love Leonard Marshall. He was on the show. He was a great guest. And in my head, I'm going to bed like, these motherfuckers are never getting back to me. The next day, Leonard's representation. Hey, we'd like to talk to you about having Leonard on the podcast. And I think I texted you guys like, I fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up big. And you're also like, here's the thing. I'm not available at all today. Nick, can you do it? And I'm like, what do we...
Yeah, that is true. If 1925 reaches out to you, it could be one of the... Get fucked, Tom. Okay, we get it. It could be one of the three. It's like you don't know who you're talking to. Is it Nick? Is it George? Is it Tom? Is it both of them? It's all three, really.
Who could it be?
Well, so, if you get a pissed off tone, it's me.
Of course. And Tom goes, the best quote Tom had, I still laugh about this. He goes, hey, George, how about next time you just slow down on reaching out to people? Because you were shitting your pants because you're like, all these guys are going to, say they want to do it. And we don't have shit. We didn't have a page. The YouTube wasn't converted yet.
Nothing. So we just wung it. And 4 weeks later, here we are. We're having fun week by week. We're learning. We're growing. We're letting George talk a little bit. We'd like to mute his microphone as we could moving forward. Tom
did say I had good questions. Mike did say I had some good questions.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Not that I wrote them, but I recited them. Tom, any comments from the class we missed during all that?
No. I mean, we had a few. We had a few off the stream as well. A lot of praise. Jets fans commenting, saying hello, saying that they like what they see on the show. I will say, when I did Big Blue Avenue, right, on this stream, a lot of our fans, I would say close to 50%, were fans of other teams. So just because we cover the Giants, we don't just welcome Giants fans. Obviously, they're priority, but we welcome fans from all different teams because we love to converse with you, and that makes the show better, getting a different audience perspective. Our goal as content creators is to entertain you and to take your comments, answer your questions, and make your day a little bit easier and better. If you're having a bad day, come in and join and talk to us, right?
Yeah, we have really bad days here.
Yeah, I mean, thanks.
If you want to feel better.
Well,
George.
We were a mess last night off air. That was some real cluster. But the
it all
goal
comes out good in the wash, right?
Yeah, I think we've been doing pretty okay right now. I mean, we still have 18 people watching us at 9:08 p.m. So that means we're doing something right.
Go to bed.
So,
Get a job.
Well,
yes.
you 18 people, I appreciate you. Forget what Nick said. He sucks. This is a long chugging road, but we'll figure it out eventually. You guys want to do another one next week?
Absolutely.
I'm busy.
Do it.
No. Yeah.
Nick,
Folks,
you're not valuable, Nick. That's what you. We got to go before it gets bad here.
we got to plug our socials, though. Folks, make sure to go check us out on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Big Blue Avenue. If you're on YouTube, it's 1925 Podcast Big Blue.
The 1925.
All right, this is not Ohio State University. How about we just end with the cheers tonight? Why don't we?
Perfect.
Second cheers of the show. George
Perfect
Bristol,
deflection, buddy.
Nick Golden. I'm Tom Scavetta. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Go Giants.